had to have money. Y'all told black men that they had to have money to holler at you. That's why they don't want to go to college. College is the long play. College is 4 years, then sometimes an additional 2 or 3, sometimes an additional 5 or 6, depending on what career field you choose. Y'all told black men they got to have money right now. So they're not thinking about 4, 5, 6 years down the road. They want to go make money now. And regardless of what some men will say, there are a lot of men out there in the world that do things to impress women. Women, y'all may not recognize the power that you have, but I am willing to bet my last dollar if we put more emphasis on being attracted to intelligence, being attracted to character, integrity, being attracted to commitment, determination, drive, I'm willing to bet they'll start going to college. I said what I said. Because if you stop and think about it, a lot of the things that we do is to impress the other sex. Now, I know y'all are going to say, I'm decentering men. I hear you. And men, I know you're going to say, I ain't worried about these. I get it. But we all want attention. A lot of us want to be validated. A lot of us want to be chose, be picked. And we will do the things to get us picked. So,
Hey, she's absolutely cooking right here. What's going on, everybody? It's Professor Zeus, and I'm back with another video. If this is your first time at the channel, this one I greatly appreciate you for stopping by. Go ahead and hit subscribe. We're on our way to 2,000 subscribers. We are taking it the humble route. Guys, today we're looking at kind of like a follow-up of one of my last or my previous videos about a woman who was saying that, black boys are getting left behind. And now we have this video where it's, this woman is saying black men don't go to college, right? So, she's honestly cooking. If you've been paying attention to what she's been saying, right? She says a lot of black men aren't going to college because, a lot of the cultural norms and, the pressure, especially from women, that prioritize a lot of quick money over long-term potential, right? She was making the note that, if you take the college route, that's more of a long-term play. And depending on the profession that you're looking to get into, that could be, 2 to 3 years, or it could be an extra 5 to 6 years after your 4 years. So that's a long play. And a lot of women are trying to start dating a guy who has money now, right? And, she's like, it's not just logical, it's emotional. And, it's just how we move as a community, different things like that. And honestly, she's not necessarily wrong, because when you zoom in, or I should say when you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, there's a lot of truth that she's saying, right? A lot of men are out here chasing validation, right? Hustling, trying to take risks, trying to be the real one, because that's what gets celebrated. Going to college, like, that's for, the lames, the people who aren't about that life, quote, that life, you know what I mean? And she ties it to the women too, saying a lot of them don't date potential. They want a guy who already has a lot. They want a guy who already got motion, right? But they're not looking for a guy who's got potential. They're looking for a guy who got motion right now. And that's the issue, right? When I got married 6+ years ago. I had nothing, right? But my wife saw in me, she saw that I had honest potential, and I saw potential in her. And then we were able to grow, build together, and, create the life that we live now, A lot of women are saying, a guy with potential, yeah, that's cool, but I need that money in my hand right now. And now this obviously doesn't apply to every person, but I would say culturally, there's a lot of, things that she's saying that's true. If you really think about it, how many times have we heard, someone prioritizing hustling over like studying or different things like that? We've all seen it, right? And I'm a college graduate myself. I graduated with 2 undergraduate degrees, and then I got my master's, right? So I guess in term, this is I did it the long way, but I was still able to do X, Y, and Z when I was in college, when I was in high school. but a lot of those women didn't see the potential in me, right? Let's let her keep on cooking.
So that might be why they're not going to college. Another idea is a lot of black men are being raised by single black mothers and they ain't got the money to support their sons through college. So how am I going to get into college when my mama can barely afford to feed me and my siblings? I don't feel like that's even an option. I don't have a lot of role models in my neighborhood that are showing me that I should go to college because they didn't go to college. And then if I do have an uncle, a daddy, or granddaddy that is in my life, sometimes they hit me with, "Oh boy, just go get a job because real men work." So y'all help me to understand why they would choose college. And now y'all are ragging on trade schools, talking about trades to give you a job. Excuse me? As a hairstylist myself, I make way more money as a hairstylist than a lot of y'all college graduates. And from what I hear, y'all are struggling to find jobs with those college degrees. So let's not poop on trades, please. Okay, thank you. Y'all.
Yeah, and I don't know. There's not really any lies in what she's saying, right? Like again, going back to even my situation, like I was in high school. I feel like I was, somewhat. I knew a lot of people. I wouldn't know if I said I was popular. I knew a lot of people. Um, I made okay grades, not the best. I wasn't valedictorian. I took one AP class that was extremely. It was AP government, and I just tried my best. Um, and I was still able to. The reason I was able to get do my thing or like get quote unquote play in high school is because I was a likable guy, and I was able to communicate with people effectively. I always was able to tap into people wherever they were at on their journey. That's always been my gift, right? Being able to talk to different people, no matter what level they're on, and form a bond and form a connection with them. So that's always kind of been my power. But a lot of people, you know, they're not able to, experience a lot of the high school activities, and then when it transfers into college, you know, a lot of people might say these people are nerds or geeks or lames or whatever. But these same people that you call them geeks, nerds, and lames are the people who are running Fortune 500 companies now, right? So you're saying that you don't want to get with this person now, even though the potential is there for that person to help you, for you and that person to run the world, right? But you're so focused on what the guy can provide for you monetarily right now that you don't even offer, you don't even, not even offer, you don't even see a chance with him right now, right? It's honestly crazy, right? And just what the woman is saying, right? She's saying a lot of women, obviously not all women, they're not checking for potential, and it's crazy, right? They want a man who's already got the money now. And looking back again, when I was in high school, I can count how many people was really getting money in high school. I was not one of them. I was not one of them, But like I said, I had the ability to talk to people effectively and just create honest connections, right? And we live in like this microwave society, right, where everybody got short attention spans because of TikTok, different things like that. It makes sense, right? Who really has time to wait for you to like graduate, figure it out, get a job, different things like that before the money starts rolling in, right? Obviously, dating potential can work if you're both on the same page, right? Building together, rooting for each other. What she's arguing, it's rare because people don't see the long game, right? Luckily for me, I found a wife who was able to see the vision that I had for the future, right? But a lot of people don't see that vision or don't see it in the long game type of mentality, right? And this woman, she has a point, right? Some people who are raised, by single mothers with no money, no role models pushing them through college, and all the women around you is like, yo, where's the money? Where's the bag? Why would you even try to bet on a degree? You know what I'm saying? And if we're being critical, this isn't just on women. Men are also chasing validation from everybody. Friends, family, the streets, whatever, people on the block, whoever, right? Women are just part of the question. But what she's saying is definitely valid. And, a lot of black men are raised by, single parents. I won't even just say single mothers, single parents who can't even afford college. And the role models that they do have, like, uncles, dads, different people in society, they might say, like she was saying, just get a job. Real work isn't in school, and some people just, take the trade route. I know a lot of people who became plumbers, have who do trades, HVAC, you name it, security. They make six figures. You feel me? The question is just making sure you have a vision of who you're trying to be in the future, right? I'm trying to have a situation where my son, he'll never see poverty. I don't want him to ever experience that. So I'm literally laying the groundwork now to make sure that he's okay, right? And for him to understand that he doesn't need to seek validation for people who can't validate him. The only person who can validate him is himself, right? So, is this woman cooking? Or does she have a lot of great points? I think so. A lot of the cultural norms that we see, validation, a lot of expectations coming from women, the lack of proper role models, it all adds up to why black men, are looking to skip college, right? But obviously it's not the full story. And, some of us do bet on, potential and win, like myself, my wife, able to go to college, graduate. Now we're living our best lives. But still, a lot of the pressure on making money right now is extreme, and it's there. And, she's definitely right to call it out. So, again, this ties back to one of my last videos about black boys being left behind. Black boys are being left behind, and, this is just one piece of the puzzle, man. But let me know what you guys think. Drop a comment. Should college even be something that people pursue anymore? Let me know how you guys feel. Let me know what you guys think. Hit that like button if this hits home. Share this video with somebody who can see some value in it. Subscribe if you haven't. We're on our way to 2,000 subscribers. And never, ever forget, it's you and I verse. Information, application, execution. I'm gonna post this video in the description so you guys can check her out and support. Until next time.